I planned a luxurious cruise for my kids as a surprise. Days before departure, my stepmother shockingly replaces them with my sister's kids, saying they deserved it more. My reaction left everyone speechless. I used to believe that family meant support. That even if they took advantage of you, even if you swallowed every insult, it was worth it, because you were part of something bigger. But sometimes, family is just people who know you won't say no. I wiped my hands on the kitchen towel and glanced at the clock. 6:47 p.m. Any moment now, my father and stepmother would arrive, uninvited as always. From the other room, I could hear my kids laughing, arguing, creating their own little world of chaos. They were loud, unfiltered, alive, and that's exactly why my stepmother despised them. They are out of control. You've spoiled them rotten. Her voice still echoed in my mind, though our last argument had been days ago. Do you even discipline them? Or do you just let them run wild? I had clenched my jaw but said nothing. There was no point. She had already decided her truth. Mom, are we really going on the cruise? Liza asked, bouncing on her heels. Grandma said it's going to be amazing. I smiled, tucking a stray curl behind her ear. Of course, sweetheart. You and Max are going to have the best time with Grandpa and Grandma. Just a few more days, and you'll be on that big ship, eating ice cream every day. This cruise was supposed to be special. A vacation just for the kids and their grandparents, something carefree and exciting, something that would give them new experiences while I got a much-needed break. I had planned every detail, paid for everything, and made sure my parents had the best accommodations. They didn't have to lift a finger. All they had to do was enjoy the time with my kids. The front door opened without a knock. Hello, darling, my stepmother's voice rang through the house, saccharine and insincere. My father followed her in, silent as always. He never interfered, never stopped her. I turned, forcing a polite smile. Not today, I told myself. Don't start anything today. Good timing, I said. I was just about to finalize the cruise details. She smiled. A slow, calculated smile, the kind that made my stomach twist. Oh, about that. She started, taking off her coat and draping it over the chair. We had to make a little change. I froze. My fingers tightened around the counter. What change? She sat down, crossing her legs elegantly, like she was about to discuss something trivial, like dinner plans, not something I had spent months planning. We decided that your sister's kids would benefit from this trip more. Silence. I stared at her, the words not fully registering at first. Excuse me? She sighed, as if I was the unreasonable one. Well, after our little disagreement the other day, I realized that your kids really don't deserve this trip. They're too undisciplined. Too much work. And honestly, I thought it would be a good lesson for you. You need to learn how to raise them properly. A flashback hit me like a slap to the face. 3 nights ago. Dinner at my father's house. Max. Liza. Sit down properly. My stepmother's voice rang through the dining room as she scowled at my son, who had simply reached for the breadbasket. They're just excited, I said lightly, trying to keep the peace. Excited? They're uncontrollable. Look at them, she snapped, her perfectly manicured fingers tightening around her wine glass. You've raised them like wild animals. No respect, no discipline. Excuse me? My voice dropped, my patience thinning. You heard me. She set her glass down sharply. You let them do whatever they want. They need structure, rules. Your sister's kids? Now they are well behaved. Polite. They know how to listen. Maybe because they're terrified of their mother, I muttered under my breath. Her eyes flashed. I don't expect you to understand. But I won't sit here and pretend your parenting isn't a disaster. I had forced myself to take a deep breath to keep my temper in check. My father had remained silent, staring at his plate. He never took sides. Not mine, at least. And now, here we were. She had been waiting for this moment. The perfect way to teach me a lesson. A sharp, cold rage spread through my chest. You replaced my children? My voice was eerily calm. She waved a hand dismissively. Oh, don't be dramatic. They'll get another chance. But your sister's kids? They've had a rough year. And, well, they're easier to handle. It's for the best. My father shifted uncomfortably but said nothing. He never did. Something inside me snapped. But I didn't scream. I didn't argue. Instead, I reached for my phone, my fingers steady. "Oh," I said, voice light. "That won't be a problem at all." And with a few swipes, I canceled everything. Every ticket. Every suite. Every excursion. Gone. Her smile faltered. "What? What are you doing?" I slipped my phone back into my pocket and met her gaze. Problem solved. Silence stretched across the room like a drawn bowstring, tight and waiting to snap. My stepmother stared at me, blinking, as if trying to process what had just happened. My father shifted in his seat, his discomfort finally manifesting in a clearing of his throat. "You canceled the trip?" she asked, her voice sharp, disbelieving. I met her gaze evenly. "That's right. But that's ridiculous." She gave a forced laugh, like I had just made a tasteless joke. "The cruise is tomorrow. Do you know how much trouble it was to get everything arranged? What will we tell your sister's kids?" I folded my arms. "Tell them exactly what you told me. That plan's changed." Her mouth opened, then closed. My father sighed heavily. "Come on, honey. Be reasonable. The trip is already paid for." "No, Dad." My voice was ice. "I paid for it. And if my kids aren't going, then no one is." The first flicker of realization crossed his face. "You mean you canceled everything?" "The rooms, the tickets." Every last detail, I confirmed. The color drained from my stepmother's face. "You're being childish." "Am I?" I cocked my head. "Because I seem to remember someone else changing plans without asking. You decided my kids didn't deserve to go. Now no one is going." My stepmother shot up from her chair, her expression darkening with barely restrained rage. "You had no right." "No," I cut in. "You had no right to make that decision. To treat my children like they are less than your precious golden grandchildren. You thought you could teach me a lesson? Well, here's one for you. You don't get to make choices about my generosity." Her breathing was heavy, her nostrils flaring. She turned to my father, waiting for him to jump in, to take her side like he always did. But for the first time in years, he hesitated. His brows furrowed as he looked at me, something dawning on him, something he should have realized a long time ago. "You canceled everything?" he repeated, this time softer. I nodded. "And you're really okay with losing all that money?" I let out a short laugh. "Oh, don't worry. I'm getting a refund." My stepmother's eyes widened. "What?" I reached for my phone again and turned the screen toward them, showing the email confirmation from the cruise line. Full refund. The travel insurance covered cancellations for any reason, and since I booked through my corporate account, I pulled some strings. Every cent is coming back to me. For a moment, the room was dead quiet. Then my stepmother's face twisted with fury. "You." "Me," I echoed, shoving my phone back in my pocket. "I just undid all your work in 2 minutes. Hope it was worth it." "You are so ungrateful," my stepmother hissed, snapping me back to the present. I exhaled slowly. Grateful? For what? For being told my children weren't good enough? For being treated like a second-class citizen in my own family? She marched toward me, jabbing a manicured finger into my chest. "I have done nothing but try to help you." I let out a cold laugh. "Help me." I took a step closer, lowering my voice. "Let's go over what help looks like to you." I counted on my fingers. "You took money from me for family emergencies while my kids went without things they needed." 1 finger. "You've called me selfish every time I dared to do something for myself." 2 fingers. "You've never once stood up for my children when they were being compared to your better-behaved grandkids." 3 fingers. Her lips pressed into a thin line. "And now, you went behind my back and removed my kids from a trip that I planned, paid for, and organized without even telling me." 4 fingers. I dropped my hand and took a step back. "That's not help. That's control. And you don't have that over me anymore." My father stood abruptly. "Honey, let's just calm down." "No," I said sharply. "I'm done being calm. I am done playing nice." I grabbed my purse and turned toward the door. Where are you going? My father asked. Home, I said. Because unlike some people, I actually want to spend time with my kids. I walked out, slamming the door behind me. And for the first time in my entire life, I didn't feel guilty for leaving them behind. The moment I stepped out of my father's house, my phone exploded with messages. I expected it. My stepmother wasn't the type to take humiliation quietly. I unlocked my phone as I walked to my car, scrolling through the notifications. Missed calls, 3, Dad. Missed calls, 5, Stepmother. New message, Stepmother. You are being ridiculous. Call me back now so we can fix this mess. New message, Stepmother. You will apologize for your behavior. I don't care how angry you are, you will not ruin this trip for your father. New message, Dad. Sweetheart, can we talk? I snorted. Now he wanted to talk? I reached my car, slid into the driver's seat, and locked the doors. My hands were still shaking, not from fear, but from the sheer adrenaline of standing up to them. I placed my hands on the steering wheel, taking a deep breath. And then, just as I was about to put my phone down, another notification popped up. Incoming call, my sister. Oh, here we go. I exhaled sharply and hit decline. 15 minutes later, my sister showed up at my house. I had barely stepped inside when I heard the knock. Not a polite knock. A furious, impatient, fist against wood kind of knock. I closed my eyes, already regretting answering the door. But if I didn't, she'd probably just keep banging until my neighbors called the cops. With a sigh, I swung it open. And there she was. Emily. My perfect, flawless, always right older sister. Her blonde hair was pulled into a sleek bun, her makeup was flawless despite the late hour, and she was wearing one of her designer coats, the kind that screamed money. Are you serious? She snapped before I could even say hello. Nice to see you too, Emily, I said dryly, crossing my arms. She shoved past me, heels clicking against the hardwood as she stormed into my living room. Why the hell would you do that? She demanded, turning to face me. Do what? I played dumb. Her eyes flashed. Cancel the trip. I leaned against the door frame. Oh, you mean the trip that I paid for? That one? Oh, don't start with that, she groaned. Mom said you overreacted. You know how she is. She didn't mean anything by it. I laughed. Emily's lips pressed into a thin line. What's so funny? You standing there, acting like this is just some tiny misunderstanding. Like I should just accept it and move on. Because you should, she huffed. It's just a vacation, for God's sake. You made it a bigger deal than it needed to be. Right. Just a vacation. Just my kids. Just another way for her to remind me that we'll never be good enough. Emily rolled her eyes. Here we go. The victim's speech. And there it was. The condescension. The dismissal. The same thing she'd done our entire lives. You always do this, she continued, throwing her hands in the air. You make yourself the victim in every situation, like the whole world is against you. I felt the years of resentment bubbling up, threatening to erupt. I didn't make myself the victim, Emily. Mom did that for me when she decided my kids weren't worthy of a trip that I paid for. She never said they weren't worthy. She called them undisciplined. Out of control. Too much work. Emily hesitated. Just for a second. She didn't mean it that way, she finally muttered. Of course she did, I said flatly. And you know it. She exhaled through her nose, clearly trying to keep herself calm. Look, just fix it. Rebook the trip. Let the kids go. Don't let this turn into some big family war. Too late, I said simply. Emily's jaw clenched. You know what? Forget it, she snapped, turning toward the door. I should have known you wouldn't be reasonable. You never are. I let her reach for the doorknob before I spoke. By the way, Em? She turned, glaring. What? I smiled coldly. Since you're here, you can let Mom know she'll be getting the bill for the non-refundable deposits. For the first time, real panic crossed her face. Wait, what? What deposits? Oh, you didn't think everything was refundable, did you? I tilted my head. The excursions? The VIP dinner? The upgraded suites? Those were special requests I added just for them. And those? They're non-refundable. Her mouth opened, then closed. How much? She asked, suddenly cautious. I grinned. 12,000. Emily paled. You're lying. You really want to test that theory? I pulled up the confirmation emails on my phone and showed her the balance. Her hand flew to her mouth. Oh my God. Mom is going to lose it. Oh, I know, I said, enjoying every second of this. Emily turned toward the door, fumbling for her phone. Wait until she hears about this, she muttered, already typing frantically. Oh, tell her one more thing, I added sweetly. Emily sighed. What now? I smiled. Next time she wants a free vacation, she can book it herself. And with that, I shut the door in her face. That night, as I tucked my kids into bed, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Not regret. Not guilt. Relief. For the first time, I had set a boundary. A real, unshakable, expensive boundary. And something told me this was just the beginning. I woke up to 23 missed calls. 15 from my stepmother. 5 from my father. 3 from my sister. I let out a slow breath, already knowing exactly what kind of storm was waiting for me. Sure enough, the moment I unlocked my phone, the messages flooded in. Stepmother, I hope you're happy. Your father is heartbroken. I don't know how you can live with yourself after what you did. Stepmother, your sister's kids were excited. Imagine how they feel now. You don't just hurt me, you hurt innocent children. Do you even care? Stepmother, I hope you're ready to explain this to Dad when he calls. I told him everything. Sister, Mom is livid. She's talking about taking legal action. Are you out of your mind? Sister, just fix it. It's not too late. Dad, sweetheart, please call me. We need to talk. I rubbed my temple, already exhausted, and it wasn't even 7 a.m. yet. And then, just as I was about to put the phone down, another notification popped up. Incoming call, Dad. I hesitated, then sighed and answered. Hi, Dad. Sweetheart. His voice was tired, like he had aged overnight. Can we talk? We're talking. A pause. Look, I know you're upset, but was canceling the entire trip really necessary? I closed my eyes briefly, pinching the bridge of my nose. Dad, she removed my kids from a trip I paid for without telling me. What exactly did you think was going to happen? He sighed. I just think maybe you overreacted. Overreacted. I repeated slowly, my tone dangerously calm. Dad, if someone had done that to Emily's kids, would you be saying that? Another pause. That's not the point. It's exactly the point. My voice sharpened. You've spent years letting her walk all over me. You always say you don't want to get involved, but what that really means is you don't want to stand up to her. It's not that simple, he muttered. It is. You just don't want to deal with the fallout. Silence. For the first time, I heard him exhale shakily, like the weight of this conversation was finally settling on his shoulders. Your stepmother, she just wanted to do what was best for the family. I laughed, but there was no humor in it. No, Dad. She wanted to do what was best for her version of the family. One where I'm just the person who pays for things but never gets a say. He didn't respond. So let me make this easy for you, I said, my voice turning ice cold. I'm done. I'm done paying for things. I'm done being the family's problem solver. If she wants a vacation, she can book one. If Emily's kids need a trip, she can pay for it. Sweetheart. No. I cut him off, feeling a sharp sense of finality settle in my chest. This was my last act of generosity, and you let her throw it away. Another long silence. And then, quietly, for the first time in years, my father said something that actually sounded real. I don't know how to fix this. I closed my eyes. You don't, I said softly. Because you're 20 years too late. And then I hung up. The next few hours were blissfully quiet. No calls. No messages. I had a late breakfast with my kids, took them to the park, and ignored the outside world. But by mid-afternoon, I knew it was only a matter of time before she showed up. Sure enough, at exactly 3:14 p.m., my doorbell rang. I didn't move. Then it rang again. Longer this time. Then knocking. Loud, impatient knocking. I sighed, finally getting up. Might as well get this over with. I opened the door, and there she was. My stepmother. Her perfectly blow-dried hair was a little less perfect. Her designer blouse slightly wrinkled. But her eyes, oh, they were filled with pure fury. "We need to talk." I leaned against the door frame, arms crossed. "I really don't think we do." She pushed past me, inviting herself in like she always did. I let her because, honestly, this was about to be fun. She spun to face me, her hands on her hips. "What the hell is wrong with you?" I smirked. "Be more specific." "You ruined this trip. Do you have any idea what you've done?" "Oh, I have a pretty good idea. Your sister is panicking. The kids are devastated. Your father is heartbroken. And you? You're just sitting here, acting like a spoiled brat." I tilted my head, pretending to think. "Huh, that sounds a lot like your problem, not mine." Her face twisted in rage. "You're unbelievable. I always knew you were selfish, but this is a new level." I sighed dramatically. "And yet, somehow, I'll find a way to live with myself." She stepped closer, lowering her voice. "You need to fix this." I smiled. Slowly, coldly. "No." Her nostrils flared. "You don't get to say no." "Oh, but I do." I shrugged. "And I just did." She sputtered, her face turning red. "You can't just." "I can do whatever I want." "And you." I took a slow step forward, watching her actually step back for the first time ever. "You just learned what happens when you push someone too far." Her breathing was heavy, her hands shaking at her sides. "You think you won?" she hissed. "This isn't over." I laughed. "Oh, it is. It was over the moment you decided my kids weren't good enough for you." Her jaw tightened, but she said nothing. So I smiled and opened the door. "Bye, Mom." Her eyes flashed. She hated when I called her that in this tone, dripping with sarcasm, stripping the word of any warmth. She stormed out. And this time, I locked the door behind her. That night, as I tucked my kids into bed, my daughter looked up at me, frowning. "Mommy?" "Yes, sweetheart." "Did we do something bad?" she whispered. "Is that why we're not going on the trip?" My chest tightened painfully. I brushed her hair back gently. "No, baby," I said softly. "You didn't do anything wrong." She looked at me for a long moment. Then she nodded and rolled over, hugging her stuffed bear close. And as I stood there, watching my children sleep, I felt something shift deep inside me. This wasn't just about revenge anymore. This was about protecting them. And if that meant burning every last bridge to keep them safe from this family, then so be it. The silence after my stepmother left felt different this time. It wasn't heavy with guilt. It wasn't suffocating with regret. It was peaceful. For the first time in my life, I had said no, and I meant it. I sat in my living room, staring at my phone, waiting for the next round of attacks. But something told me I wouldn't have to wait long. Sure enough, not even an hour later, my phone buzzed. "Incoming call, Dad." I exhaled slowly, debating whether to let it go to voicemail. Then, almost immediately, another notification popped up. "Incoming call, Stepmother." Then another. "Incoming call, Emily." I rolled my eyes. They were desperate now. And desperate people? They made mistakes. I let them all go to voicemail. But Emily wasn't one to give up easily. Within seconds, my phone vibrated again. New message, Emily. "Pick up the phone. Mom is losing it. Dad's freaking out. You need to undo this now." New message, Emily. "She's talking about getting lawyers involved." I smirked. Oh, this just keeps getting better. I tapped my fingers against my knee, thinking, they wanted to play dirty? Fine. I'd show them how dirty I could get. I opened my email, scrolling until I found what I was looking for. A contract. A fully executed contract. I clicked on it and let the text sink in, smiling to myself. Oh, they were going to hate this. Flashback. 2 months ago. "That's a lot of money," my coworker Ryan had said, staring at my screen. "I know," I muttered. "You sure you want to put it all toward the cruise?" "It's for the kids," I said automatically. But something nagged at me. "And your stepmother? You trust her with this?" Ryan raised an eyebrow. I hesitated. No, I didn't trust her. Not even a little. Then protect yourself. He shrugged. Get something in writing. A contract. Make it official. I stared at him. A contract? Yeah, a simple one. Just something that says they agree to certain conditions since you're paying for it all. If they break the agreement, they owe you. A slow grin spread across my face. Ryan, I said, you're a genius. Present day. I clicked forward on the email and sent it directly to Emily. It took 30 seconds for my phone to ring again. Incoming call, Emily. This time I answered. What the hell is this? She screeched before I could even say hello. I smiled, settling back into my couch. That, dear sister, is a legally binding agreement. You can't be serious. Oh, I am. You're actually making Mom pay you back? She agreed to my terms when she let me cover the entire trip, I said simply. She accepted my money. She signed a contract. And now? Now she's in breach of that contract. So, yes, she owes me. Silence. Then, in a lower, angrier tone, Emily whispered, Mom is going to lose her mind. She should have thought of that before screwing me over. Emily took a slow breath, trying to keep her voice steady. Okay. Let's just be reasonable. Maybe we can work something out. Oh, now you want to negotiate? I asked, amused. Look, we can figure this out without lawyers, right? She said quickly. Maybe Mom can pay you back in installments? Or maybe you can just... No. What do you mean no? I mean no, Emily. My voice hardened. Mom always gets away with this crap. She manipulates. She twists things. She does whatever she wants, and you and Dad let her. Well, I'm not playing anymore. She owes me money, and she's going to pay it. Emily was silent. For the first time in her entire life, she didn't have a comeback. You're serious, she finally muttered. Dead serious. You'd actually sue her over this? If she pushes me? Yes. Another long silence. This is going to destroy the family, Emily said quietly. No, Emily, I said, calmly, coldly, finally free. This family was already broken. I'm just done pretending it wasn't. And then I hung up. That night, I opened a bottle of wine, curled up on my couch, and waited. For the fallout. For the meltdown. For the moment my stepmother realized she wasn't in control anymore. And sure enough, at exactly 9:02 p.m., my phone exploded with calls. Dad. Emily. Stepmother. I didn't pick up. Because this time, I was done. After canceling the cruise and confronting my stepmother, I'm faced with a tough decision. Pursue justice in court or seek a peaceful resolution. Reddit, did I make the right choice by standing up for myself? Should I go to court, or is it better to try and reconcile?